I went home and I went, okay, I'm going to go online and find out what the world's most successful people do in all walks of life for their personal development. How do they evolve and grow? And what are their daily rituals and routines and habits? And so I was looking for what's the number one thing that I should do? And I ended up with a list of 6 practices. It was meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and journaling. And it doesn't have to be an hour. You can do 30 minutes earlier. I mean, there's even a 6-minute miracle morning. There's a chapter called the 6-minute miracle morning where you just do 1 focused minute of silence, 1 focused minute of affirmations, right? And in 6 minutes, you're feeling calm and peaceful and focused, etc. So the miracle morning is very customizable. But the point is, when you wake up and do your miracle morning, you're putting yourself in a peak physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual state. You feel phenomenal. And then you go into your day feeling like on fire, right? He lost 80 pounds after he started the miracle morning, and he reached out to me. That's why I got him in the movie. I was like, this is amazing. He goes, Hal, I've tried diets, I've tried pills, I've tried everything. But the miracle morning changed me from the inside out. It changed my mindset. I never felt worthy of losing the weight. And he said the miracle morning gave me self-worth. And I woke up every day, right? So I've seen so many people go from the depths of despair to turning their entire life around faster than they ever thought possible.
Hal Elrod, oh my, oh my, oh my. Welcome.
Susie Moore. It's so good to be with you. So, what's amazing is Kathy Heller introduced us, and her and I had the same love at first sight. We met and we just connected and we just loved each other. And then you and I had the exact same instant connection. So yeah,
what
it's
a
really,
blessing.
really, really cool.
This is already one of my favorite interviews, Hal. Let me just
right, yeah. 10 seconds in, I know, me too. I just because we're both in the anticipation phase of we know it's going to be good. So
yes, exactly. And I've loved your work. I love your book. People say bestseller a lot, right? But this is a true best-selling book. I know that you're humble, but this is you sold, or according to your website, I'm sure it's even more now, but 2.5 million copies of The Miracle Morning author. Wow. I can tell you that I heard about your book from at least 4 or 5 people before I even bought it years ago. Miracle Morning. And this is when I was actually in the tech world. My background's in the tech sector in Silicon Valley. But I heard about your book, heard about it, bought it, read it. My husband too. We love it. And oh my gosh, when I saw you on Kathy, my friend's podcast, I was like, oh, he's got to come on mine. And here you are. And then how you've got a very interesting story. I was spending some time looking at your history because I know that people like you, people who are so optimistic, resilient, they're made. Would you agree with that? I don't think we're born this way.
I think so. There's the whole nature versus nurture. And I wonder, I've seen that there is some science that shows certain people can be born with a certain temperament. And I think that epigenetics might be that science that explains it, and how you can literally, you can adopt personality traits of your parents, right? That are so you can be born, if your parents are super negative and always right, you could literally, that can seep in. And I think that, but I also believe that we can change. And so for me, I was always a pretty upbeat, optimistic, positive guy. But my ability to deal with adversity and the challenges that I faced, I think those were really learned. And so now my life is really about paying it forward and sharing with other people what I learned along the way that really helped me.
Yes, what we say, Hal, in my community is, or one thing that we believe is that the greater our challenges, the greater our struggles, the greater our destiny. It's almost as if that's why we're being
I like
formed.
that.
Yeah, it's why we're being shaped. And what I love that you share so openly is, you grew up feeling kind of average, right? You weren't an athlete, you weren't top in class at school. You were
No.
figuring life out. Then you kind of found a path with DJing and so forth, and then you had this unthinkable car accident where you were pronounced dead. Unbelievable. How few people go through this type of experience. And then with the economic downturn 2008, you lost a lot of things. You lost your house, financial hardship. I mean, it's just like being hit. And then in your 30s, as a father of two, married, you also contracted this rare form of cancer with a 20 to 30% success rate. That was your likelihood for survival. And here
Yeah.
you are, Hal. And here
Yeah.
you are, smile, like here you are. I mean, a lot of people would go, you know, life sucks. It's just like, when like, I don't know if the sun's ever going to come out. Like, you said that you created the Miracle Morning during that phase of depression when things weren't going well for you, like for financially, career wise, like the world was in trouble. Could you
Yeah.
tell us how you kind of got to create the practice that's become such a
Yeah.
phenomenon?
Yeah, and it is interesting. I'm it was my little morning routine. Like it wasn't an idea for a book. A lot of books that are out there are book ideas, right? Like, ooh, I'm an author, I'm going to write a book on this thing, right? Miracle Morning was really organic. It was in 2008 when the economy crashed. I had been on an upward trajectory. So I had finished a career in sales. I hit Hall of Fame within the company that I was working for 6 years. And then I felt like I'm not meant to sell other people's products. Like I'm meant to help. And I had already been through my car accident when I was 20 years old. And that was when the seed was planted. Like I'm meant to get through this and then help others get through their challenges. And so when I was 20, I spoke at my first high school. And then I started speaking at more high schools and then colleges and then so on and so forth. So I had this dream of like, I want to be like a motivational, a keynote speaker. I want to be an author. Like I want to share my story and help others with it. And so in 2008, when the economy crashed, I had launched a coaching business. It was successful. And then almost overnight, like millions of other people, I lost over half of my income. I could not pay my mortgage. My house was foreclosed on by the bank, which was very depressing. It was also a major identity crisis because I was a, quote unquote success coach and I was failing miserably. So now I'm like, who in the hell am I to try to recruit new clients and go, I can help be successful when I can't pay my bills.
Yeah.
I moved back in with my dad. And a series of events led me to hear a single quote from Jim Rohn that was the catalyst to change my entire life faster than I ever thought possible. And the quote from Jim Rohn was this: your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development. I had probably heard it before, but Susie, in that moment, I quantified it. And I went, and I would encourage, if you're listening right now to this, I want you to ask yourself this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being as successful and fulfilled as you can be in your life, what level of success do you want in your life? And I'd say most people, it's a 10, right? I've never met anyone that's like, I don't want to be too happy or I don't want too much money. Like, no, it's like, no, there's this innate drive and desire inside of us to be as happy and healthy and wealthy and successful as we possibly can be. So my question was, okay, I want level 10 success. And the next part of Jim Rohn's quote was, your level of success will not exceed your level of personal development. So then I asked, okay, what's my level of personal development? And so again, if you're listening right now, I encourage you to ask this. And let me define it for you. Personal development is who you are becoming as a person. It's the mindset that you're developing, the beliefs that you're developing, the skills that you're developing, the habits that you're developing, right? And at that time in my life, when the economy had crashed, I had canceled my gym membership. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't reading. I was in desperation mode where I woke up, I stared at my computer all day, maybe called some people to try to recruit them to coaching, got rejected over and over and over, and went to bed feeling depressed, and woke up and did it again and did it again and did it again, and was like, I was like, I'm probably not going to take my own life, but I'm thinking about like, I can't do this. And so my level of personal development was like at a 2, like maybe a 3 or a 4 on a good day. I wasn't growing. I wasn't learning. I wasn't evolving. I wasn't getting better. And therefore my life wasn't getting better. And so I believe that's the disconnect for like 99% of our society. Think about that. Everybody wants level 10 success, but how many people have a daily personal development ritual that is ensuring that they're becoming a level 10 person, the level 10 version of themselves to achieve and sustain that level 10 success. And so I went home and I went, okay, I'm going to go online and find out what the world's most successful people do in all walks of life for their personal development. How do they evolve and grow? And what are their daily rituals and routines and habits? And so I was looking for what's the number one thing that I should do? And I ended up with a list of 6 practices. It was meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and journaling. 2 problems with that you might be facing right now. Number 1, none of these are new. And in our society, we've been conditioned to look for new. And our brain ignores what we already know. Nah, I already know that. Dismiss it, dismiss it, dismiss it. So I'm like, none of these are new. And the second problem was, not only which one's the best, but when am I going to find time to fit this in? And the epiphany was this. I went, wait a minute. Number 1, I'm not doing any of these consistently. And these are the practices that the world's most successful people have sworn by for centuries. Maybe I should try them instead of dismissing them because I've heard of them. Just common sense. But then number 2, the light bulb was when I was trying to figure out which is the best, I went, none of them are head and shoulders better. It just depends on who you ask. Certain successful people swear by their affirmations or their meditation or their visualization. The epiphany was, what if I did all of them? What if I woke up an hour earlier tomorrow and I dedicated 60 minutes to the 6 most timeless, proven personal development practices in the history of humanity? That would be the ultimate personal development ritual. And according to Jim Rohn, theoretically, if I do that consistently over an extended period of time, it would enable my level of personal development to go from a 2 to a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And according to Jim Rohn, my level of success will parallel my level of personal development. That was the theory. And I woke up the next morning, and here's the exciting part, Susie, from the very first piece of it. If a lot of people listening are probably like, I'm not a morning person. It's always roughly 30 to 50% say, I know morning routines are good and starting your day in a peak state is helpful, but it's not for me. I'm not a morning person. And I just want to handle that up front before somebody tunes out, because somebody asked me in an interview once, they said, Hal, what percentage of, there's millions of Miracle Morning practitioners in over 100 countries. And they said, what percentage of those Miracle Morning practitioners were already quote unquote morning people when they read your book? So this was easy. This wasn't like they had to wake up earlier. They just, instead of checking email, they did their meditation, their affirmations, they did the practices. And he said, but what percentage of people had never been a quote unquote morning person? So it was like for them, they didn't think they could do it. And maybe their friend convinced them, just read the book, whatever it was. And I did not know the answer. I thought, that's a question I have to know. Or an answer I have to know. And so I emailed our community, which at the time was probably a few 100,000 people. It wasn't as big. And I was pleasantly surprised that 72% of Miracle Morning practitioners said they never thought they could be a morning person. They never believed it was possible for them before they read the book. And so I woke up the next morning like a kid on Christmas. And this is a common experience. You're not a morning person, but when you did you celebrate Christmas as a kid, Susie?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So if somebody didn't celebrate Christmas, they can attribute this question to their first day of school when they were a kid, or like a holiday or whatever they were excited to wake up. Okay. Yes. But let me ask you a question. Even if you weren't a quote unquote morning person, was it hard to get yourself out of bed on Christmas morning?
Never.
No. And it didn't matter if you tossed and turned all night and had terrible REM sleep. You woke up with energy. And I realized we can recreate the experience of waking up on Christmas morning by dissecting, reverse engineering, what is it about Christmas morning that gets us excited? And it's we're excited to wake up. We have a specific purpose in mind that's beneficial to us. So my first Miracle Morning, and it wasn't called the Miracle Morning, it was just personal development at 5 a.m. But that night I went to bed like a kid on Christmas Eve, because I went, this is exciting. What if this is the thing that changes my life? What if this turns it around? What if I can get out of debt? And I can what if this is it? And that next morning I went through all 6 practices, and I was really poor at them. Like I didn't know how to meditate. Affirmations, the way I learned them online were like super inauthentic and goofy. Like I was lying to myself. But even doing a poor practice, at the end of that hour, I felt so much clarity, so inspired, so energized, so motivated. And I was like, this is it. This is it. I'm doing this every day. If I start every day like this, it's only a matter of time before I become the person that I need to be to turn my life around. And the last thing I'll say on this, Susie, I know I'm long-winded.
I love it. No, I love it. I have so many questions. I'm like, whoa.
Okay. You're like, let me. All right, so here's the last piece. I thought I gave myself a year. I was thinking about the compound effect, like 1% better every day. I thought 1 year from now, if I commit to this and I stay with it, I can be a totally different person living a totally different life. And it happened in less than 2 months. That's why it's called the Miracle Morning. I went to my wife, and I literally can picture where we saw each other in the hallway. She was coming out of the bedroom. I was going to find her. And I said, sweetheart, I just signed 2 more coaching clients. Now, mind you, Susie, this was in the peak of the Great Depression or Great Recession.
Mm-hmm.
This was when the economy was at the worst.
Mm-hmm.
But I, through my Miracle Morning practice, by developing the mindset, the beliefs, I bought a book on how to get coaching clients. I mean, I just filtered my goal of increasing income through all 6 of the Miracle Morning practices. And I went to my wife and said, sweetheart, I signed 2 more coaching clients today. That officially makes 14 clients. We have doubled I had 6 clients when I started Miracle Morning. I went from 12 to 6 and then from 6 to 14. I said, we've officially more than doubled our income in the last 2 months because of this morning ritual. It is a miracle. And she looks at me and she goes, it's your miracle morning. And I go, she's my muse, by the way. And I go, I like it, Miracle Morning. So I started writing it in my schedule every day. But again, not a book idea. But then I taught it to my coaching clients over the next 2 weeks. And almost all of them resisted going, oh, gosh, I'm not a morning person. Like, can I do it later in the day? And I go, you can, but you're going to miss out on the benefits all day long that you get from doing it in the morning. Mm-hmm. So they all gave it a shot. And 13 out of 14 clients came to our next call. One of them just gave up after like 3 days. But the other 13 were like, Hal, I'm having the best week in my sales career. I'm reading again. I'm running again. And that's when the light bulb went off. And I went, if the Miracle Morning worked for me and I wasn't a morning person and it's working for 13 out of 14 of my clients and most of them were not morning people, this could work for anybody. And I have a responsibility to share it. And then 3 years later, self-published the book, and the rest is history. So back to you.
Oh my God. Hal. This is divine. I mean, I know we already say miraculous. It just feels like you were meant to teach this, like you were meant to have your experiences that led to this. One thing that I love, so many questions came up as you were speaking. One thing that you said, which I think is really important not to skip over, is the fact that there's nothing new. Right? Because as human, we're wired for novelty. Hey, this amazing hack with lemons will change your life. It'll make you $1 million. It's
totally.
Like, oh, I haven't tried that hack with lemons. And you're like, so silence, affirmations, visualizing, exercising, reading, journaling. Yeah, it's interesting that maybe as old as time in some cases, but we're not doing them.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, as a coach, you're like, I wasn't doing, like, you weren't doing them. Isn't it interesting that out of these practices, like the combination, you brought them all together. Do you think that the power is in all 6, or do you think that there is room for a 4? Like, because I love them all, but for me, I don't want to exercise first thing, Hal. It's a hair wash thing. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I love it. So I have 2 answers to this question, and then make sure if I forget the exercise piece, remind me of that. Okay. Because that's a third answer. But there's 2 answers to the question. So I want to address there's nothing new, like I said, and like you said, right? And we're wired for novelty. And then number 2, do you have to do all 6? So, Robert Kiyosaki, are you familiar with Robert Kiyosaki? Right. So he wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I got to speak at an event. I got to be his opener. He was the headliner. I was the opener. Like, I don't even know, 7 years ago or 6 years ago, and I got to have dinner with him and the founders of the event afterwards, right? A little perk. And I had a copy of my little self-published Miracle Morning book, like under the table on my lap, that I had written a note to him. And I'm trying to get the courage and like find the moment to give it to him. But in my head, I'm thinking like, dude, you're going to look like a goober. You're going to look desperate. Like Robert Kiyosaki's worth $80 million. He doesn't need your little book on morning routines, right? Like, so I almost didn't give it to him, but then thankfully Wayne Gretzky showed up, not literally, but metaphorically. There's a quote from Wayne Gretzky, very famously.
Yes,
he said,
I love
"You miss
quote.
all the shots you don't take. You miss all the shots you don't take." And I heard that in my head and I went, I got nothing to lose. Like, I'm going to give it to him. And if he throws it in the trash, whatever, I have nothing to lose. Get over yourself, Hal. So I wait till the end of the dinner. I give him the book, and he was polite and, thanks, Hal, blah, blah. I figured he'll probably never read this, whatever. But at least I gave it to him, whatever. 3 weeks later, I get an email from his assistant. Her name's Chris. Anyway, I won't say her name, but she says, she says, Robert has read The Miracle Morning 3 times in the last 3 weeks. And like my jaw hits the desk, right? I'm like, what? He read my book 3 times? Yeah. He's doing The Miracle Morning with his wife, Kim, almost every single day. It's changing his life. And he wants to have you on Rich Dad Radio. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. And so I do Rich Dad Radio. And if anybody knows who Robert is, he's very, he tells you what he feels. And he's felt so strongly, about The Miracle Morning. He kept interrupting me and going, Hal, hold on. Everyone listening, pause this and go buy the book. Like he just kept, it just kept saying, because he's like, he goes, this is changing my life and it will change your life. You have to read this. You have to do this. And here's what he said that is the answer to your question. He said, Hal, before The Miracle Morning, every successful person on the planet swears by at least one of the savers and attributes their success to it. He said, you would be hard pressed to meet any successful person that doesn't attribute some part of their success to their affirmations or the books that they've read or their exercise routine or their meditation, right? He said, but I've never met anyone that did all 6 practices. And he said, I think you named the book correctly because any one of these 6 practices will change your life. When you do all 6, you experience miracles. He said, I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm losing weight. I'm on and on and on. And so that's it, is The Miracle Morning, those 6. And I do want to, after this, make sure we go through the 6 practices because there's a way to organize them in people's mind. But the other question people say is, can I do them later in the day? And the answer is absolutely. But you experience benefits from these 6 practices, such as mental clarity, motivation, energy, right? All of these things that if you don't do it in the morning, you're missing out on those benefits that will impact how you show up for your day. So will these 6 practices benefit you in the afternoon? Absolutely, right? But you've missed out on the productivity that you might have had throughout the morning. I forgot if there was another part of your question that I didn't answer, but I'll turn it back over to you.
I think it was about exercise specifically.
The exercise piece. All right. So this is a perfect opportunity. I remember the other answer to your question. Hold on. Sorry, I'm a little ADD.
I love it.
So the other reason that I believe The Miracle Morning has been so effective for people is that, yes, the practices are not new. They're age-old wisdom. The way that I teach them is arguably new or very different. Yes. And here's what I mean. A lot of these practices, you might fall under the category woo-woo, right? Like visualization. Isn't that kind of like law of attraction, like woo-woo? Well, the world's most successful athletes swear by visualization, and they do it in a very practical, results-oriented way to rehearse performing at their best before they get onto the court. There's nothing woo-woo about it. They're programming their subconscious mind and their body to perform at a peak level so that when they step on the court. So in The Miracle Morning, I teach, how do you apply that to how you show up for your family, how you show up at work, how you show up, right, for others. So it's about I'm a really practical, results-oriented person. So all of the savers are like filtered, taken from, okay, there's a woo-woo way to do this. That's not for us. How do you apply this in a way where it's practical, it's actionable, and it will actually produce results? I'll give you a quick example. Affirmations are the most, I believe, misunderstood personal development practice because we've been taught one of 2 faulty approaches. Number 1, just lie to yourself and convince yourself that it's true. So, for example, if you're struggling financially, There are these affirmations such as, I am wealthy. I am a millionaire, right? And it's like you're deluding yourself, and the truth will always prevail. So while there may be some merit to saying, I am wealthy, I am wealthy, I am wealthy, and starting to embody that, if you're not wealthy, you're creating an internal conflict that says, every time you say, I am wealthy, it's like, no, you're not. It's like, shut up. I'm doing my affirmation, right? Like, I'm trying here, I'm trying.
Yeah.
And like, we don't need any more internal conflicts. The second problem with affirmations is we're taught to use this flowery, passive language that produces a magical result that makes us feel good in the moment, but it's independent of any effort. Give you an example. I am a money magnet. Money flows to me effortlessly.
How
and in abundance.
I love the affirmation voice. I am
right? That's
money.
usually how it's. That's usually the voice that you. But here's the thing: why do people like that affirmation? Because it's very popular, right? Yeah. Why do they like it? Because it gives them temporary relief from their money woes. If you look at your bank balance on your phone and you're like, oh shit, I'm negative. Pardon my French, right? And then you go, okay, I need my affirmations. Okay, I am a money magnet. Oh God, that feels better. Money's flowing to me effortlessly in abundance. Everything's magically going to change in my life. Oh God, that feels really good. I completely gave myself a delusional reality that everything's going to fix itself and I don't have to do anything. So let me give you 3 steps onto how to create affirmations that are practical, actionable, and produce measurable results. Step 1, affirm what you're committed to. Now, in template form, that would look like, I am committed to blank no matter what. There is no other option. I am committed to blank no matter what. There is no other option. In life, we get not what we want because we want it. We get what we want only if we are fully committed to it. So when you're affirming every day that you are committed to generating that result, achieving that goal, establishing and maintaining that habit, number 1, you're keeping it top of mind. Number 2, you are literally recommitting every single day. And it gets easier and easier and easier to maintain that commitment. When I had cancer, here's what that looked like. I am committed to beating cancer and living to be 100 plus years old alongside Ursula and the kids. No matter what, there is no other option. And Susie, when I got cancer and I was given a 20 to 30% chance of surviving, I was scared. I couldn't help but think, what if I die and I leave my 7-year-old daughter without a dad and my 4-year-old son without a dad? That's like the worst thing I could imagine happening, right? For them, I mean, for me, whatever, but for them, like they're not gonna have a dad, so that was hard. But here's what happened. That fear didn't serve me to dwell on it. Like, yes, I should be aware of it so that I took the right actions to heal myself. But living in fear and letting that affect my cellular health was not what I needed to do. So I used that affirmation and I recited it every day, multiple times in the morning and throughout the day. Whenever I felt fear, I said, I am committed to beating cancer and living to be 100 plus years old alongside Ursula and the kids. No matter what, there is no other option. I said it with such conviction that it became my reality and there was no room for fear. Fear was replaced in faith in my commitment. And so that is step 1, whatever you want to accomplish in your life. And I have affirmations that follow this formula for all of my goals. Financially, what am I committed to no matter what? There is no other option. In terms of my relationships, what am I committed to no matter what? There is no other option. Step 2.
I'm already thinking how, like what mine will be. I love it. I am committed to blank.
Do you have one? Can you share? Is there one coming up for you?
I mean, I
know I'm putting you on the spot.
I want to be precise with this. Like I'm expanding in new ways, and I think, it could be here, it could be there, but maybe I just haven't fully committed to the specific.
What's one goal? So let's make it simple. So Susie, what's one goal in your life this year that you're already working towards? So pick something that you're already working towards.
I have an incredible life coaching membership. Like as big as possible. I don't even have a number in mind. But I just want it to grow and expand and continue to serve. So, and it is
pick a number of members. Just pick a random number that stretches you beyond what you believe is probable. So beyond, 25. It's possible, but you're not sure if it's probable.
Do you mean within a time frame, a certain time frame, or it doesn't
Yeah,
matter?
by the end of this year, is it 1,000 members, 100 members? Is it
Say 3,500 members.
okay? I am
Yeah,
committed
I'm
to,
committed.
I don't know what word you'd use, attracting or signing up or
I'm
whatever,
committed to welcoming,
to
say,
welcoming
2.5.
3,500 members to my coaching program by December 31st, 2023. No matter what, there is no other option.
No matter what, there is no other. Oh, I like how that feels. How that's
And
a
when you
good
read
one.
it
I
every
like
day with
it.
conviction, it becomes
Everything.
your reality. And then and here's what it does. It becomes your North Star, that all of your thoughts, words, and actions start lining up with what it is that you're affirming that you're committed to.
Do you have these for multiple products and projects that you have, or do you just have like one
Every
for real one?
project, every goal,
Okay.
there's these 3 steps. So I'll lead to the other steps. Step 2,
Mm-hmm.
affirm why it's a must for you. So step
Mm,
1 is affirm what you're committed to. Step 2 is affirm why it's a must for you. So,
mm,
this Simon Sinek, made it
yeah.
the finding your why famous, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
the why is the fuel that drives us to do whatever's necessary to make that commitment a reality. My why is usually not just one. One's enough if it's a must for you. That's the why. But like when I had cancer, I had 5. I think it was 5 bullet points. So I'm committed to beating cancer for Ursula because I
Mm-hmm.
promised her forever and a day. I'm committed to beating cancer for Sophia and Halston because they need their daddy's love, leadership, and guidance. And I want to play with their grandkids one day.
Yeah.
I'm committed to beating cancer for my mom and dad because they already lost one child and they don't deserve to lose another. I'm committed to beating cancer for myself because I deserve to live a long, happy, healthy life. And last but not least, I'm committed to beating cancer for the millions of people who are themselves battling cancer or some other disease and may not have been blessed with the knowledge and resources that I have. And I have the ability to help them on their journey. Those 5 whys were so meaningful to me that, Susie, it's like, yes, there's no option other than me figuring out how to beat this cancer. And then step 3 is which specific actions will you take and when?
Mm-hmm.
Which specific actions will you take and when? So once you've affirmed what you're committed to, you've affirmed why it is a must for you. There is no other option. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to ensure that it happens? And for me, it was I will combine the best of Western medicine and follow through with my chemotherapy treatments. That was hard for me because I didn't want to do chemo. I wanted to cure this naturally, but my cancer was so rare that the best holistic doctors in the country, I called them and they said, we can't help you. Your best bet is chemo. So I didn't leave it at that. I said, I'm going to combine the best of Western medicine and I'm going to relentlessly research and pursue the best holistic practices available and combine the two to heal myself. And I take 100% responsibility for my healing. I'm not delegating it to the doctors. I'm not counting on the chemo. I'm taking my health and my healing and my life into my own hands. That's the power of using affirmations in this way. Is you're literally, if you follow this formula, the only way you can fail is to not live in integrity with your affirmations. But that's an example, Susie, of how all of the savers, so the Miracle Morning is silence, the 6 practices, it's an acronym that is savers: silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. Scribing was initially journaling, but the J did not fit at the end of the acronym. It made it very awkward. So thank you, thesaurus. It became scribing. But those are the 6 practices, right? And that's an example of how I've tried to make them really practical and not woo-woo and, like out there and airy-fairy.
I'm obsessed. I mean, I'm obsessed with this way of crafting affirmations. So your commitment, which is in your control, right? Because it's not like I'm a money magnet, which is, I
No.
mean, very abstract, right?
Yeah.
So I'm committed to your why is clear. I loved your 5 whys. I got emotional hearing them when it came to your healing. And then the action piece, which is something that again is easy to skip over, right? It's like, well, I'm
Sure.
visualizing and I'm affirming. I'm visualizing my red Ferrari, right? Or I'm visualizing, I'm affirming I'm a money magnet, and then there's no
Yeah.
action. right?
Yeah.
Or like the missing piece is, well, I don't know. Aren't I doing all the work just by like it being in the state of reception, like the state of, so, okay, a couple of things. You said this is reassuring, Hal, because I know someone's thinking this. Uh, I'm going to do it badly. Like, I'm probably going to mess up my affirmations. Whenever I meditate, I just start thinking about, I don't know, my ex-husband or something like that. I'm going
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
if I even want to attempt this, is it okay to like get better? Like, cause Hal did it in 2 months and his life was incredible, but I don't know. I don't like silence and I never exercise and reading. I don't really do that. And I don't know, but it's okay to be bad at the beginning.
Totally. The one I want to
Yeah.
answer, let's answer that, but first to your specific question about exercise.
Oh, yes,
So
yes, yes.
yeah,
So
and this
many
will
ways to
actually
do it,
answer
isn't there?
kind of a lot of other questions because they're
Okay.
wrapped into this.
Yes.
The miracle morning, the savers, doing those 6 practices in the morning, you can do them in any order. So some people like to start with silence because, like, I actually like silence to start because I like to just kind of wake up and my mind is still, it's in between that,
Yeah.
waking and dreaming state, and I can really a lot
Mhm.
of ideas are coming to me, and so I'll pray, I'll meditate, I'll kind of combine it all in the morning first thing. I've heard quite a few people say, I fall back asleep if I meditate first thing in the morning.
Mm.
So they say, I like to exercise first to wake myself up. Here's the point, Susie. So you mentioned it, washing the hair and all that. That's not the level of exercise that I prescribe in the Miracle Morning. It's
Right.
literally anywhere from 60 seconds of jumping jacks, which, by the way, if you haven't done 60 seconds of jumping jacks in a while, that
I
will get
haven't.
your heart rate up. That will increase the blood and oxygen flow to your brain, which helps you with not only be more awake, more alert, more focused, but it improves your mental clarity and it improves your energy. So,
Mm.
literally, 60 seconds of exercise will improve your energy and your mental clarity and actually your emotional state. You'll feel better.
Mm.
You can also do 5 minutes of stretching, right? So this is
Yeah.
literally I do a full blown workout after my kids go to school. My Miracle
Mhm.
Morning exercise is just a few minutes to get myself awake and get that blood and oxygen flowing.
Mm.
And then what was your other? I'll turn it back over to you to articulate
Oh,
your question about
yeah.
it not being perfect.
I feel like I know that there'll be listeners going, "Oh, I've never really meditated effectively. It's
Mm,
never worked for me." Or,
yeah,
out of these 6 things, I tried journaling 3 years ago and I lost that journal.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, I think people will be worried about being bad at it and failing at it.
So my first Miracle Morning, which again, it wasn't called the Miracle Morning, it was
Yes.
personal development at 5 a.m. because Jim Rohn said my level of success wouldn't exceed my level of personal development. Okay.
Hmm.
So the night before, I had never meditated. So the
Hmm.
night before, and I had never done affirmations. I had never done visualization. Of course, I had exercise. Of course, I had read. And journaling, same thing. I probably had like 7 journals on my shelf that all had like 1 to 3 pages filled out. Like I was never consistent with it, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the night before, I opened 6 tabs on my internet browser. How to meditate, how to do affirmations, how to visualize, how, right? Like I literally had these tabs open, just how do I do these things? And I read them the night before, and then and then I reread them in the morning. So meditation, I'm like, how do I meditate? Okay, so like clear your mind and just focus on your breath. And so I'm closing my eyes and I'm like, my mind's still racing. I suck at this,
Mm.
And then affirmations, again, the ones I found, this was before I had this formula. I just found these ones online that are like, I'm a money magnet and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is like kind of cheesy. Like I kind of feel better reading them, but I don't know. In visualization, I'm trying to rehearse my day and then I exercise. That was easy. I go through. Here's the point. I did them poorly. I was very subpar, on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how good I was at these things. I was probably like a 3,
Mhm.
right? But even being a 3 versus not doing them at all, at the end of that hour, I felt incredible. And anyone that has any kind of self doubt around this, I really point to the millions of people that are doing the Miracle Morning. And a great place to start is if you go to miraclemorning.com, that's like the hub. You can watch the Miracle Morning movie is there. Have you seen the movie, by the way, Susie?
I've seen the trailer. I actually said to my husband, we're going to watch it this weekend together.
Awesome. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'm excited. It turned out really good. So, and it was halfway through my cancer journey. I got cancer halfway through filming it. And so like the movie takes a dramatic turn because I'm fighting for my life for the last 30 minutes of the movie. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, so miraclemorning.com, the movie's there. There's a free app that is like a companion there. But the reason I was pointing people there is you can, if you scroll down, you can click on join the Miracle Morning community. It is a Facebook group with 340,000 members from over 100 countries. And the only way they join, I don't advertise it, it's they read the book, and in the beginning of the book it says join the Miracle Morning community so you can connect with people that are doing it. And so I always encourage people, in fact, it's in the beginning of the book, because I go, before you even read the book, like take 5 minutes and go read 10 posts in the community, and you're going to see normal people just like you, some of who are just starting their Miracle Morning journey. They're on day 1 or day 5 or day 12. But some people are on day 789, right? Like, I mean, literally, there's a guy that's on like day 2,500 that posts all the time. Like,
Wow.
And so you're going to see ordinary people just like you that were just as nervous that this would work for them. 72% of them thought they couldn't be morning people. You know what I mean? Like, so it really is one of those, if it works for me and it works for them, like you can totally do this and just take baby steps and just lean into it, you know?
Oh my gosh. Do you ever miss a day, Hal? Like, are you ever like,
I average 7. Well, so I strive, I do it every day unless I have to stay up late for some reason.
Okay.
So like a date night, or I go to a concert or whatever, like I value my sleep. And I used to not. Before I had cancer, I would do it every day, and I would do it at the same time, no matter what time I went to sleep. I'd force myself up. It was that whole like, oh, you know, I could do it. Like mind over matter. That's probably might be why I got cancer. I don't know. But literally when I looked at what have I done in my life? What have I put into my body? What have I done to my body? What have I done? Like, what have I done that could have contributed to cancer? One of them was I wasn't valuing sleep enough. So now I get 7 hours no matter what. If I don't go to bed till 1 a.m, I'm not allowed to get up till 8 and start my Miracle Morning then, right? So, and I will answer this too. A lot of people in the community that are new will comment in that Miracle Morning Facebook group, and they'll say, hey, I'm curious. I'm new to the Miracle Morning. How many days a week do you do it? Is it just Monday through Friday? Do you do it on the weekends? Yeah. The most popular answer, and when, you know, we'll get dozens, if not hundreds of answers, and it's my answer too. I started at 5 days a week, and then here, because we're just conditioned to like take the weekends off, right? But here's what happens. You wake up, you know, and it doesn't have to be an hour. You can do 30 minutes earlier. I mean, there's even a 6-minute Miracle Morning. There's a chapter called the 6-minute Miracle Morning where you just do 1 focused minute of silence, 1 focused minute of affirmations, right? And in 6 minutes, you're feeling calm and peaceful and focused, etc. So the Miracle Morning is very customizable. But the point is, when you wake up and do your Miracle Morning, you're putting yourself in a peak physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual state. You feel phenomenal. And then you go into your day feeling like on fire, right? And so what people will say in the comments is, I started at 5 days a week, but then when I would sleep in on the weekend, I'd wake up and I'd be missing the benefits that I got Monday through Friday. They go, so then I decided to try it on Monday through Saturday. And then on Saturday, I'd feel I'd feel amazing, you know, and then I'd go out and have a great day with my family or whatever. But they said, and then I was like, why don't I do it 7 days a week? So most people start with 5 days a week, and then they go to 6, and then they end up at 7. I personally think 6 days a week is probably ideal, and taking a day off to just kind of rest, you know, it's like having that one day where you just rest. But for me, I probably average like 6.2 days a week or something, you know, it's almost every day.
And if you've got something on that evening, you'll sleep in, or if you went to bed late the night before?
If I went to bed the night before. That's a good question. Sometimes, no, it's funny. I joke that if I do have something coming up where I'm going to be up late, I have to train for it. Like I'll adjust my bedtime leading up to it, because I'm pretty extreme. I go to bed at 9:30, wake up at 4:30. And then when I'm writing a book, I go to bed at 8:30 and wake up at 3:30. So,
So you go to bed
so
with the
that's
kids.
my,
Your wife is like, you go to bed with the kids, right? 8:30? Yeah.
basically.
I love it. Yeah.
And so, but yeah, so if I know I need to stay up until like midnight, we got a concert coming up or something, I'll stay up till 10 p.m. and then 10:30 and then 11, like the 3 days before, and I'll adjust so I can more easily stay up. Because otherwise, I'm crashing, at like at 9:30 when the concert's happening. So.
I love how you're so consistent, but there isn't a rigidity. There's also flexibility here. It's not like do or die. It's like this is for you. Like, and one other thing that I think is probably coming up, at least in the minds of somebody, because if you've ever felt depressed or if you've just felt like disconnected, you haven't even got you don't feel like you've got the resources to even begin something. Right. It's like sometimes I joke if I'm in a low mood, even for 2 or 3 days, I'm like, I can't even be bothered to open one of my self-help books. Like,
Totally.
and I have thousands, like I live for them, but I'm like, I'm too, I can't even walk to the bookshelf and open it. I can't even put on a YouTube something. Like, it's not like, so if someone feels and the 6-minute version, and I get the sounds good, but I don't know if I can begin. Like, you started this in a low place in your life.
Totally.
Right? You weren't like bounding with energy coming off a big win. Like, it was from that place.
Yeah, it was. Well, I think it's Tony Robbins that says we either change from a place of inspiration or desperation, and I was for sure the latter, right? Yeah. But here's what I would encourage someone to do if they're in that state and they're listening and they're feeling hopeless, because that's the thing is I was feeling hopeless, because nothing, like, it was a 6-month downward financial spiral. Not to mention my body fat percentage had tripled in those 6 months. Like, I wasn't exercising, and I was really depressed for the first time in my life, because I think that one of the major causes of hopelessness, and I'm not psychiatrist or psychologist or anything, but it's hopelessness. I mean, one of the major causes of depression is hopelessness, right? When you lose hope, that's as depressing as it is. And so when you're trying to change your life and nothing is working, you start to give up hope. And that's where I was. But then when I heard that Jim Rohn quote, and then I went home and did the research, I started to see a glimmer of hope that, like, maybe this could be it. And I cannot tell you how many people, I mean, go to Amazon, there's 21,000 reviews on the book, and you can just read, or go to the Miracle Morning community and read other people's stories that said, the Miracle Morning cured my depression. The Miracle Morning got me off my meds. The Miracle Morning, I mean, these are all real testimonials. The Miracle Morning saved my marriage. The Miracle Morning, I lost, like, weight loss is a huge thing that people do in the Miracle Morning group. Like, I had tried in the Miracle Morning movie, there's a young man featured. He was obese his entire life. There's a video of him, a cell phone video of him in high school, weighing 320 pounds and doing a belly flop off an 80-foot cliff to try to get attention from his friends. It puts you in tears. He lost 80 pounds after he started the Miracle Morning, and he reached out to me. That's why I got him in the movie. I was like, this is amazing. He goes, Hal, I've tried diets, I've tried pills, I've tried everything. But the Miracle Morning changed me from the inside out. It changed my mindset. I never felt worthy of losing the weight. And he said, the Miracle Morning gave me self-worth. And I woke up every day, right? So I've seen so many people go from the depths of despair to turning their entire life around faster than they ever thought possible. And here's what I would suggest. Watch the movie first. That's the most passive, easiest way you could, right? Like, if you want to order the book, of course, you can order the book. But while you're waiting,
you must order the book. The book is a must-have in every single home, for sure.
I was trying to. I don't like to be like too promotional of it, but no, of course, get the book. But and I think at miraclemorning.com, I can't. I'm not sure, but I think you can, like, I know you can order the book there, but you can definitely watch the movie there. And again, that's like, it's 90 minutes of your life. You just hit play and sit back, right? And it's also on Amazon Prime. You have to rent it for like $4 on Amazon Prime. It's free on miraclemorning.com. But a lot of people tell me, like, I'd rather just pay the $4 and watch it on Amazon. But that's the best way to start, because here's what that does. A lot of people have emailed me and said, Hal, I've never read a self-help book before Miracle Morning, and I never thought I would. But I watched the movie and I was like, look at all these people that are changing their life because of this book. So like the movie's a great way to just lean into it and be like, after the movie, like if you're not convinced like that you want to try this, then nothing will probably convince you, right? But that's a great place to start. And the reason we made the movie is because in order for the miracle morning, like my mission is to elevate human consciousness, like to the consciousness of humanity, and to reach billions of people. And it's something like 3% of humanity that read self-help books, but way more people, probably 50% or 80%, especially in developed, countries, they watch movies. Yes. So I thought this is the way where we can really introduce people to this practice so they can change their life. So yeah, the movie is a great gateway to the miracle morning.
And you can watch it just lying down, feeling bad, exactly. with a hangover, like whatever it is. Like your mission and what you've created, Hal, is, I mean, to me, it just feels like it's so divinely guided. Like it's so, and I think that, I mean, there's so much more to go. I mean, I know that this book's already been around for a while, but I feel like you're just getting started with this message. I mean, is that how you feel? Like, do you?
I do, for a few reasons. One is, one of my dreams was to get the miracle morning practice, not just the book, but the practice into schools. I thought, imagine if we could get elementary school students starting their day with the savers, meditating, affirming, all of these practices. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but it's on my 10-year vision that I wrote in 2016. Well, Brianna Greenspan, who is one of my close friends, she was my coaching client when I created the Miracle Morning. She's like the third person I told it to, right?
Wow.
She leads the Miracle Morning Clubhouse room on the Clubhouse app. And she, long story short, she had a principal say, we rolled out the Miracle Morning in our school in New York City. We were one of the worst schools for detention in our entire district. We are now the best, thanks to the Miracle Morning. And it happened almost immediately. And so on that Clubhouse call was another principal. And she goes, tell me, I want to do this. So what happened was, now Brianna Greenspan is the director of education for the Miracle Morning. She has gotten the Miracle Morning. She's rolled it out in 1,300 schools in New York City. I'm like, wait, what can I say? Yeah. What can't I say? She's meeting with some public officials like this week that I can't talk about to roll this out statewide. And so New York that's the test. And it's unbelievable, the results they're getting. They're not only their students, but their teachers that are reporting overcoming depression and so on and so forth. So yes, the Miracle Morning, like, it's been 10 years, but it's just getting started. And I'm working on an updated and expanded edition of the book that'll be out in the next year or so. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, Hal. And for clarification purposes, with the savers, if someone wants to eliminate one or spend more time on, say, one in place of a second, is that okay? Yeah.
Great question. And the answer is yes. There's a chapter in the book called Customizing the Savers to Fit Your Lifestyle. And what I always encourage people, and you'll see this in the book ends with a 30-day challenge, and it teaches you how to overcome the obstacles to trying something new, and on and on and on. It really sets people up for success. And I usually tell people, for the first 30 days, just do all 6, because you won't really know how beneficial it is if you discount it after a few days, because it's hard or it's uncomfortable or it's like meditation, your mind's racing. You've got to give it 30 days. And then after the 30 days, completely adjust the savers. Like, I don't do visualization every day. It's actually the only saver that I only do every once in a while. I probably do it once a week. Like, I'll visualize engaging with my wife in a really loving, playful way, or my kids on like the weekend. If I have a speech coming up, I'll visualize myself being really present and excited and so I'll use visualization as needed. I don't do it every day. But yeah, so for the first 30 days, I encourage people to do all the savers, and then you can completely customize the time frame. So I spend 20 minutes on reading, but I spend 10 minutes on affirmations, and I only spend 5 minutes on exercise, when I do my morning exercise, right? I only spend 0 minutes on visualization, right? So I've customized my savers to fit what works for me. So the answer is, I encourage you to start with all 6 and start with 10 minutes each or 5 minutes each. If you do a 30-minute miracle morning, that'd average out to 5 minutes each, right? And then play with it as you become more experienced.
Hal, I can't thank you enough. Like truly, the passion with which you bring to the work that you do, and like coupled with just the practicality, like the steps, how tangible this is. I'm thrilled this is getting into the hands of young people. Like,
Yeah.
think about what that will do. Like, think, and then them teaching their kids what, like, oh my God, think of like the legacy of all of this. One final question I love to end on, which I love to ask my guests, is because, for the Let It Be Easy podcast, I care so much about ease because I really believe that we overcomplicate our lives. We have so much resistance. It's very natural for us to think too much, take less action. Maybe your answer has been this entire episode, but I'd love to ask you, Hal, what's one thing that you do consistently that allows your life to be easier?
Yeah. It's a great question. I mean, the first answer that does come to me is the miracle morning,
I know,
because
that's what I thought.
right,
Yeah.
because without it, you wake up and you're just reacting, right? The miracle morning helps you be intentional and proactive versus reactive, because you start your day in this peaceful state with just freedom and space. You look at your goals, you look at your schedule, your to-do list, you recite your affirmations, right? And you enter the day in a peak mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual state. So yeah, I mean, if I'm being really just honest and not trying to not say the miracle morning and come with something different, right? Like, but I mean,
Yes.
it is the miracle morning. It does make everything. And there's a book called The One Thing, right, by
Yes.
Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And the one thing question, and I'll probably butcher it, but it's something along the lines of, what's the one thing you can do that by doing it, it will make everything else easier or unnecessary? And when I read that book, I was like, it's my miracle morning. That is the one thing I do that makes everything else easier. And in some ways unnecessary, because a lot of times I get it done in the morning and I don't have to work on it or think about it the rest of the day, because I figured it out, before the day even kind of essentially got started.
And what's next for you, Hal? I know there are secret cool things going on behind the scenes. Is there anything that we can look forward to from you? So everyone's going to head to Miracle Morning, get the book, watch the movie for sure, check out all of Hal's work. And you've got a suite of books for real estate agents, Miracle Morning, for network marketing. You've created so much from this and made it really customized for different types of people. But yeah, what's next? Anything you can tease for us, Hal, that's coming up?
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of did. It's the updated and expanded edition. That's actually, I'm working on it right now. And so, okay, well, I'll give you a little bit. So what's going to be in that? And it probably won't be out for, I don't know, at least 6 months or so. Maybe by the end of this year, but we're looking, that's probably 8 months away. But here's what here's the changes. All right. So this is actually a peek behind the curtain. This is actually a great approach.
Ooh, yeah.
So, number one, I'm rewriting the entire book, meaning it's the same book, it's the same chapter titles, it's the same structure. But if you've ever gone back and watched a video of you a long time ago, 10 years ago, or read something you wrote 10 years ago, I don't know about you, but for me, it's cringeworthy. As I'm reading, I'm like, oh my God, how could I sound terrible? This is embarrassing, right? So I'm dealing with that. And so I'm essentially writing the miracle. I'm rewriting every sentence from the place of consciousness that I'm at now versus where I was, when I started writing it 13 years ago, right? So the entire book is getting a major facelift. But beyond that, I'm adding 2 chapters that are mega chapters. There's over 6,000 words each. And one is the miracle evening, how to set yourself up for an optimal sleep. That's something that I find so many people struggle with sleep and winding down. And so I feel like I cracked the code on that. So the miracle evening is one chapter. And then the last chapter is the miracle life, which is the next book I plan on writing. So it's the content that I've been developing over the last really 3 years since the pandemic hit. And I thought, I don't want to wait another year or two for people to get that content. So I'm putting it into the miracle morning. And the miracle life is about how you take complete control of your inner world so that you can choose how you experience every moment of your life, regardless of your circumstances. And it's based on that being my superpower, that when I was in my car accident and told I would never walk again, I was totally at peace. And I said, I'll be the happiest, most grateful person you've ever seen in a wheelchair, because I will never let my unchangeable circumstances determine my mental and emotional well-being. And when I had cancer, it was the same decision. And so I'm trying to teach people how to do that, how to be able to consciously choose how you feel in every moment, regardless of what's going on around you, because it's how do you take control of what's going on inside of you. So that's essentially the miracle life. So that's my big project for this year.
Wow. I can't wait to get my hands on that. And we don't know the timing yet, but hopefully by the end of the year, Christmas presents for everybody. Maybe
Yes. Yeah. That's the goal, is to get it in time for Christmas presents. Yeah.
Hal, I think that you are a miracle. Like
Ditto. Thank you, Susie.
like truly, I mean, of course, the work you do, the transformation you give people, it's so generous and it's just so sincere. You can feel it, but I think it had to come through you. Like this couldn't pass through anyone else. And so your experiences, your wisdom, like truly, thank you so, so much, Hal, for being here. I could keep you. Like I could come back.
I know. I feel the same. I appreciate what you just said, because, and you said earlier that it's divine. I really believe that. Like I take as little credit as possible for the miracle morning, like, because it was an idea that came through me that was inspired by Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn should get credit, right? Like, but it's like, where do ideas come from? I don't know. I do believe it is divine. And I feel like I'm channeling it, and I'm committed to, like, hey, I was blessed with this message, and I'm going to do everything in my power to share it with as many people as I can until the day that I die. I feel like I owe that to whoever gave this to me, right? And to the people that are out there that can benefit from it. So thank you, Susie, for having me. I feel like you are divine, and you are so authentic and so sincere and so genuine, and you exude so much love. And I felt that from the first second that you and I connected. And so thank you. It's been awesome.
Oh, Hal. Okay, until next time. Hope you come back with a new edition. We'll have more to talk about.
I'll come back when the new edition comes out for sure.
Please, please, please. Okay, my friends. So until next time, get the book, miraclemorning.com. Consume all things Hal Elrod. Your life will be so much better for it. And until next time, loves, so much love and ease.